Hello, true believers. Time to do another vlog, and I'm going to do a reaction video like a lot of people are doing. This is CoreyxKenshin. I don't know anything about this blogger because he's one of these other gaming channels, but Hero follows him a lot. Hero loves his channel, thinks it's hilarious. They just kind of, this new generation, of course, they have their own way of finding what humor is, and he loves these type of gaming channels. The other one is like Mark or something like that, but this is one of the, and he's been around. He's not hasn't been around as long as I have. I started vlogging when I was like 2000 daily, starting 2009, 2010. Let's just say, let's round it to 2010. It's 2021. So I've been doing it 11 years, over a decade. So a lot of these people that are vlogging started vlogging after I have. But as you could see there, I have I always have to start all over again. And I must have had over a dozen channels deleted in the past, but I'm still here. I'm still moving. I'm still here. I'm still strong. I'm still standing. I guess in the Latin phrase, why I'm still here, why I'm still blogging, even after all my YouTube channels have been deleted and I always have to start from square one again, is the Latin phrase let me see if I can get this right. Ex fabilla nos resurgemos. Ex fabilla nos resurgemos. I think in Latin that means from the ashes we rise. So everybody knows my personality. I'm one of those guys that just can't keep a good man down. I always get back on the horse. You delete my YouTube channel and I will come back again. I'll make another channel. And and the bright side out of all these, all the cases filed against me, at least we are able to prove that I'm not doing anything illegal. I repeat, I have not committed any crimes in terms of the law of the land, especially the courts and the judges are concerned here in the Philippines. But for some reason, you get what you call these community guideline strikes, which is, it's vague. And here is an example of what I mean. Here's one person that has a lot of subscribers and has a lot of influence and obviously makes a lot of money, which is me. I don't make any money from this. And here's an example of him getting a community guideline strike. And then let me give you my thoughts and analysis on the subject, since I have very extensive experience about getting community guideline strikes. For me, it's all about my community guideline strikes. I don't do anything dangerous. I don't do anything illegal. It's all about suspicion. It's all about innuendos. And it's all about, and I probably my most is my channel is politically incorrect, especially because you're talking about YouTube is an American Western culture and we're talking about an American YouTube Western standards. They don't know anything about other cultures, especially when it comes to people in poverty. So of course they're going to look at something and it's going to violate their tender feelings when it comes to what the culture is, especially when the culture is so deep in poverty, and when it comes to that is corruption. A lot of corruption when it comes with poverty. They just kind of go hand in hand. If there's poverty, of course there's going to be a lot of corruption. And when it comes to corruption, you're living in a culture where shakedowns and kickbacks are a normal form. It's just like a way of life. So being politically correct is the last thing that people in other cultures, especially when you're talking about corruption and poverty, it's not political correctness is kind of like a higher level of thinking, which is not something people who just live moment to moment. They'll screw the future just to get something just to make their lives a little bit better in the present, versus if you're in a higher kind of consciousness where you don't have to worry about your basic needs. But when you get people over here who are worried about where their electricity, their food, their rent, their clothing, their school is going to be coming from the next day, you don't want to think about it. You don't know where it's coming from, so you don't want to think about it. So people just live kind of moment to moment, and there's no room for it for political correctness. But here in YouTube, in the Western, and of course they're a business, they're running a business, so they want to cater to, they want to be politically correct as possible to cater to appeal to the widest audience. But let's get his reaction, and I'll give you my reaction. I mean, let's talk about his video. So Hero was watching this yesterday, and I said, "Oh, okay." He got all excited. It's almost like he got excited over one strike. For me, I'm numb to it. I mean, of course, I know what it's like the first time I got a strike, and it just kind of just ruins your whole day. You just want to crawl up in the ball and just kind of, that's your baby that you've been working on for years, and all of a sudden somebody just deletes it for no good reason. And I don't know what the current policies are when it comes to strikes, but when we used to get a strike, then you would get no monetization. But that was like 10 years ago. I don't know what the policies are now, and I don't know what the policies when it comes to these big YouTubers. But let's go to this video.
YouTube, all this time that I've put into your platform, I thought that it would be worth just a little bit of respect. Just a micron of communication should you have a problem with me. Clearly, we're not on the same page that I thought we were. Guys, you won't be seeing this for another week, but today I got a community guideline strike, and I cannot tell you exactly why.
So this is not a copyright strike. This is not where you take somebody's material and plagiarize it. This is a community guideline strike, which is like a very gray, very vague area. And of course, there's lines where you can't cross, where you're showing things that are just too violent. And I know they're kind of clamping down on like profanity. So just like rated R movies, they'll give a movie a rated R if it has too much profanity or too much violence, or they do an age restriction. But usually that's the process if it's to adult material. But there's some situations where it's a community guideline, they strike it right away with no warning. Let's continue. So you got a community guideline strike.
Because YouTube cannot tell me exactly why. And that is a problem. The video...
See, this guy's, of course, there's what he wants, but YouTube is not going to respond. No matter how big you are, no matter how many subscribers you are, I mean, other than probably PewDiePie, I mean, he's his own force of nature. He's his own his own internet force. But yeah, YouTube is not going to respond to you. They're not going to get even. It's pretty much. I don't even know. I think it gets to a point probably where it's kind of automated now. It's like an algorithm. It's like the Matrix. It's like nobody understands or how these things work. They just kind of live with it. So the algorithm, they just become self-aware. So for it to do this massive scale of so many videos, so much information, they just kind of program it in the algorithm. If the algorithm notices something that's off in your video, that could be a possible community guideline strike. So a machine just determines it, strikes it. This is similar to what I was saying, how the Skynet becomes self-aware, and it's pretty much automated now. But let's continue with the video.
One question here is try not to laugh number 8. They gave me the blanket term phrase of violates child safety. Now,
so child safety was his community violation. So there must have been, he had probably a video where a child is doing something dangerous. Let's continue.
Oh, thankfully.
Which is, I mean, there is a point where children will copy whatever they see. I went through it with Hero when he was watching a lot of Tom and Jerry, and I would let him watch it, but I didn't, when I was growing up, I watched it and it was fine, and I didn't become violent. But there are kids that are going to watch it and they're going to become violent, and they're going to copy or mimic what they see, things that they like, that they enjoy on what they watch.
I keep an archive of every video I've ever uploaded just for situations like this, because they took down the video. I can't watch it anymore. I can't even go through and try to find out what part that is so utterly terrifying. And I can't do that because what was the first thing that I did when I got the email that I was getting a strike? What would you do?
Appeal.
You would probably appeal, yeah, because You uploaded that video in
and I have never won an appeal. So I appeal, and then so here I am. He's not winning, and he's not winning any appeals either.
2019, literally almost 2 years ago to the day. 2 years. This video has been on your platform, and the day after I come back to YouTube, I literally, I kid you not, #1 trending for over 24 hours. The day after I come back to YouTube, you magically, mysteriously dig deep into my videos, over 1,500 videos, and you find this one moment, or moments, because I don't know if you have a problem with the entire video. If you got a problem with one part of the video, you won't tell me. You find this moment and give me a community guideline strike. I don't believe that I should get any special treatment regardless of how many subscribers that I get. If I break a rule, I broke a rule. Tell me which rule I broke so I will never break it again. Simple as that. I have no problem if I get issued a punishment if I am guilty. But you refuse to tell me where I'm guilty. Why? Why can I not get a timestamp of...
The reason is they don't need to. There's no reason for them to give you a YouTube is a monopoly. They have no competition. Just because of this, they could be arrogant. They could set the price. They could strike you down. You're a dime a dozen. To them, you're just a number. To them, you're nothing. There's hundreds, not thousands, or millions or billions of people that are going to replace you the next day. So that's the reason why YouTube can strike you and not care if you exist or not, or ever again. So I don't know what the moral of the story is. Everybody on YouTube, everyone can be replaced, and everybody will move on, just like everybody has moved on from me, and here I am just coming back from the ashes. Ex fabula nos resurgemos, which from the ashes I will come back again. And then there's some things that have changed since there's a lot. Before I went into prison, there was like no such thing as TikTok, and all of a sudden it blew up like Salt Bay. So it was, I should do more prison stories. My biggest problem why I can't do more vlogs, more prison stories, is because of this pandemic. The kids are home all day, and I get to a point where I would rather spend time with them and be online, and even the parts that I hate, which is being in online classes. So here's how it works. I'll sit with him through his online class, because I don't know, the only way I need to explain to him what just went on, especially with math. I mean, there's a lot of resources available online, but he still needs somebody to handhold him and walk him through a lot of the concepts and theories, especially when it comes to math and science and social studies and all these other classes. So the point I'm making here is that when he goes back to school, whenever that is, which is, I have no idea, especially since Duterte is going to be president for another 6 years, which is, I can't comment one way or another, because what's going to happen is going to happen. But the problem is going to be that it might be another 6 years of no going back to school. I mean, no education. I mean, the online class, maybe this is kind of changing the landscape, where why bother with going to school when everything is available online? If you want to look up a concept, if you want to, I mean, that's what I usually do when I don't know what the teacher is saying. I'll just do a YouTube tutorial, and I get it. Somebody will explain it, and I know how to do it now. What's the point of going to school? It's mostly a lot of it has to do with the social interaction. Of course, Hero's favorite subject is football, but anyway, let's get back to this video. I digress.
Of my infraction.
So you're not that important.
Why can't I get more information than the blanket term child safety? This video has been on your platform
because you're nothing but a number to them. You're replaceable.
For over 2.
That's the reason why. Simple. I mean, You don't need to ask questions that you can figure it out yourself. I mean, YouTube is a machine. It's a money-making machine, and they'll make money, a lot of money, with or without you.
Years. And all of a sudden, when I make my return to YouTube, you have a problem with it. It took me all day to calm down to the point that I am right now. Because when someone tells me that you just got a strike on your channel.
Yeah, I remember when I first got my strike and get my channel deleted. It was difficult. It probably took a week for me to recover and move on and start another channel again and start different channels. Even though there's nothing illegal in the channels, even though there's nobody being hurt in the channels, even though there's no, like I said, it's just innuendos and politically incorrectness. Let's continue. And who's gonna say that is a? I think the pirate, I think the rabbi pirate said that he even was saying that I gave a 12-year-old chocolate. That, yeah. And somebody's going to copy that, or somebody's going to be happy about that, and all of a sudden it's a crime. You know, they're going to say that giving a 12-year-old chocolate. I remember one of the commenters said that, well, how old do you have to be to enjoy chocolate? For it to be okay to be given chocolate to. I did this recent video where I was getting the tire of the electric scooter that I don't use anymore, by the way, because number one, the battery is dead, and two, I'd rather just exercise I would rather just exercise on the folding bike, so I hardly use it anymore. And Hero, when Hero and I run, it's like we run like 15, 18 miles versus, we run like 10 to 12 miles, while the scooter can't do any more than 5 miles. So that's why I don't do it anymore. But back to the why I don't even know why I brought up the scooter. Anyway, back to this video.
Get 2 more and we will terminate you. This channel is
yeah, so you get 2 more strikes. It's like 3 strikes, you're out. And he's got several videos, and 2 years ago, from 2 years ago, so they can easily look through the rest of his archives and just strike 2 more, and his channel is done. So then what are you gonna do? Like, do what I do, just create another one. Continue telling your story. If there was another place other than YouTube that I would go, then I would. But when it comes to just reaching an audience and user friendly, it's just something that I'm used to. I've used other platforms. I think, what was the other ones I used to use? But they're not as good or easy to use or user friendly or reach a wider audience like YouTube.
Child to me.
So at the end of the day, the answer is you need YouTube, but YouTube doesn't need you. I wish that could change. I wish there was a way to break this, but for now, this is it. We just have
my baby.
We just have to work with it.
Something that I've been working on for over 10 years. And you're telling me that if I get 2 more of these things, it's just gone like that? But more than that, you can't tell me why? God bless my partner manager. He's really, this is just a regurgitation of everything that I said to my partner manager, Dom, on the phone earlier today. And he was just very, very sympathetic, trying to do what he could, getting in touch with the policy team, talking to his manager about it, trying to get to the bottom of this, trying to dissuade me from thinking that this was targeted. I don't want to feel like that, but when you look at the facts, why now is my biggest question.
Yeah, of course you're gonna feel like you're targeted. You feel like that the world is against you and you didn't do anything wrong. But welcome to the party, pal. It's just not happening to you. It's not an isolated incident. This is the world we live in now, where you're automatically people are going to be envious of your success. So people, it's just human nature, and I don't know who made the decision, why now, but obviously, if they have a chance to bring you down to the same level they are, then they will. And the simple answer or the simple response is there's nothing you can do about it. There's by what are you going to do? Are you going to stop doing YouTube? The answer is no. So unless you have some kind of leverage, the answer is why now? And their simple response is, well, why not? I hate to sound cold, maybe or cynical, and I have perfectly good reasons why I'm cold and cynical, because it's, first they came for me, nobody spoke up. It's just like this. They came for the unions or the strikers, and then nobody spoke up. And then they came for the lesbians and the gays, and nobody spoke up. And then they came for the left wingist or the right wingers, and then nobody spoke up. And then they came for me, and there was nobody left around to speak up. So unless there's some kind of revolution, but it's pretty systematic now, where we kind of let these machines and these people behind the machines just kind of manipulate or even destroy our lives or livelihood. And there's no recourse, or they can do it anonymously, then they'll continue doing it. And don't think that you're being targeted, because that's if it can happen to me, it can happen to you. Welcome to the party, pal. Just like from Die Hard, when John McClane said, "Welcome to the party, pal. This is it." But of course, he's not going to get his channel deleted like mine. And not only, like I said, I not only have one channel deleted, but I have had all my, I must have been like over a dozen channels that I have created in the past for several years, and I just kind of got just used to it. I remember Quincy said it's just a shame that all those thousands and thousands of great videos, of great content is lost forever. Well, they're not exactly lost. They're still with the police, but I don't know what the police are doing with them now. I'm going to eventually get a court order once the pandemic, and right now you can't get a court unless it's a life and death situation where it's urgent, but getting my stuff is the last thing on their list of things to do. So but let's continue. Like I said, ex fabula nos resurgemos. Let's focus on what we can control and not worry about what we can't control, which is something I experienced extensively when I was in prison, because everything was out of my control and there was nothing I can do about it.
Question. There is a huge problem, YouTube. There's a huge problem, and that problem is communication. I'm going to be honest with you guys.
The problem is not communication. The problem is, like I said before, the problem is you are just a number. You are nothing to them. You are just cattle that they just milk for free and make corporate profit from. That's the problem. And your only solution is to check out. Just like, what was it, in the 60s, where you just like, don't buy into the corporate culture of, okay, I need money for my cars and my houses and things. Just live in a tent in the middle of the woods somewhere, and that's your only response. If you're not going to do it, then don't complain. You have to work with the system, like I have. I hate to sound cynical, and I hate to go victim blaming over here, but of course, maybe I suffer from misery loves company. Like, hey, welcome to the party, pal. It's at least you still have your YouTube channel, and for me, is at least I can delete this channel. There's nothing stopping me from creating another one, and I'll keep continuing making content and expressing my thoughts and ideas and communication that you're looking for. You can't control other people's actions or machines' actions about communication, but you are, from your perspective, or to be on your side, at least you're communicating to what happened to you. Let's continue.
After they rejected my appeal, and Dom, my partner manager, said there's not really much else he can do. He's going to try and keep talking to him about it.
What the hell is a prop a channel manager, whatever the hell. It's a good. I'm not a third base coach is at least is useful. I always kind of make. I remember when I know nothing about baseball. I remember when me and my friends are into it, and I just went because my friends were into it. But it's since I never played. I didn't grow up in baseball like people here, like in America, do. But the position that fascinated me most was the third base coach. I always go, what the hell is he saying to the guy on base? I mean, I can imagine it. He's just going like, "Hey, you see that home plate over there? Run as fast as you can over there so we can score." I mean, that you need a coach for that. I guess since I'm ignorant, there's other things you can do, but seriously, you can pretty much. I'm not saying it's as useless as a channel manager, but I'm just saying it that's what the one that kind of confused me the most is why do you need a third base coach? And I guess it's important because but somebody ignorant like me or uncultured like me and when it comes to baseball have no idea what the purpose is. And somebody tried to explain it to me. It's like they could also tell you whether to steal or not steal. I mean, you can't tell that on your own. You can't see with your own eyes before you. And what the hell did you do before third base coaches were? You didn't know when to steal home or when to go for third base or something like that. I don't know. Somebody explain it. I'm sure somebody will explain it to me in the comments. But let's continue with this channel. That's pretty much it. It's still your decision, but like a channel manager and a third base coach, you're pretty much on your own. I'm not saying they're useless, but they don't really serve up especially channel managers. What purpose do they serve? Absolutely nothing. What are they going to tell you to improve? I mean, you could do that on your own. You could study your own analytics. But let's continue with why YouTube gave me a strike and won't tell me why. CoreyxKenshin, go.
And there was this moment where, like, I just lost all hope. I'm like, well, that's it. Should I go on Twitter? Should I start spamming YouTube creators? And, I don't want to freaking go on Twitter looking like I'm a crybaby talking about all of this. Because, first of all, they don't even have to respond to me on Twitter. Now, going back to my partner manager, Dom was able to... extrapolate, estimate, guess. That's all that it really was.
A guess.
Which part of the video he believes triggered all of this. Now let me recreate the infraction for you. The camera right there on the ground. So basically, there was this person. He set his cell phone on the ground, just like this. And then he's punching his phone, right? He's punching his phone. Now the last part is probably what did it. After he got done punching his phone, for some reason, he went ahead and did one of those things. Popped the squad right on the spot. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know why I didn't edit that out. After rewatching it in the archive, I thought, it's 2019, things were a little bit looser. And if that's what really caused all of this, fine. My problem is with YouTube and their communication. Markiplier I'm telling you, this video is a masterpiece. While I was trying to research to find some other creators that maybe something similar, this had happened to them, I found this video Markiplier made talking about how he got a copyright strike. And he said exactly what I said in my appeal.
Let's say, for example, this clip was actually bad, which it's not. But let's just say, for example, you know what they could have done to handle it? They could have reached out. They could have just talked to us. They could have asked us to take it down. I'd like to think that we have a good reputation. If a channel is actually in good standing with no strikes, why can't they ask us to do it for them? Why not ask us to self-moderate? I don't know if you know this, but YouTube actually has a feature where you can go into any video that you've already uploaded, even if it's public, and you can go out and you can trim out sections of video anytime. And you'll save it, and then, like, within a few hours, it'll reprocess it, and everyone will never see that part again. And many people won't even know that it was gone. So if you have someone in good standing, why not ask them to cut out the things that are a problem? If the whole video is not the issue, and it's only a small clip of them, why not talk to the creators?
Markiplier, please don't copyright strike me for using that clip, but you worded it so concisely and so perfectly. There is an editor built into YouTube. Why? If there is a channel that has years put in, a channel that is in good standing, an unproblematic channel, why wasn't there a YouTube representative that said, hey man, we don't really know about this guy popping the squat on his phone. Corey, you've been a pretty good guy. You think you could take that out? I promise you, I would have been no problem. That's it. Let me click, drag this, okay, X, boom.
Okay, let's move on from
Creator
that.
didn't mean nothing by it. This certainly was a mistake. How do you go from sending me a diamond play button
That's
to
nice.
sending me a copyright strike the very next day?
Let's move on here. Let's go to the
The
end.
community, the creators, if there is anything, you update the app, you're updating things no one asked for. And everyone hates. It makes no sense. And I don't appreciate this at all. It's really put a nasty taste in my mouth to go from #1 trending to copyright strike.
Community strike. You keep saying copyright strike.
And if I broke the rules, I broke the rules. But communicate, YouTube. Please. Communicate before you hand out strikes. Until there is communication. Until your creators feel like we actually matter. And that at any moment you can't just dig down and find whatever arbitrary video from 2015 and then hand us a strike on it. Until those things are changed, YouTube, yeah, you might be a monopoly now. You might not have competitors that can really threaten you, but there will come one. Take care of the people that take care.
Yeah, I would like that day of reckoning where there would be like a YouTube competition and break up this monopoly. But I don't know where it's gonna come from. I mean, you would think that somebody would try and knock out but I'm sure people have been trying to, but when you got Facebook, that there's no way you can knock out. I mean, TikTok, Google, I mean, it's the new monopoly. It's the new oil barons. What is it going to take to maybe more and more situations like this? But you can't control that. The only thing I could control is myself and continue making videos even at ex fabula nos resurgemos. From the ashes we will rise again.
Care of you. It's that simple. If this happens enough, I mean, I'm a channel with over 10 million subscribers. Imagine this happening to someone with 1 million or 100,000, 10,000. What can they do?
Nothing.
I know when I upload this video, a lot of eyes are going to be on it. Imagine if I was 10,000 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers, and they just swiftly taking down my stuff without telling me, without communicating with me.
Yeah.
And then there would be no one. Who would I talk to? I didn't even get a partner manager until I had like 1 million subscribers. They don't care about you until you reach a certain altitude. And even then,
They still don't care about you.
you still just
just
a number to them.
There you go. That sums it up.
Doble tibay ang Bear Brand Sterilites. Tumutulong laban sa pagod at
Can't
sakit.
get anything. I can't skip this ad.
With QuickBooks,
Another
you can
ad.
track expenses on the go. Get there quicker with Intuit QuickBooks.
Okay, so pretty
I
much.
keep an archive of every video.
So that's pretty much it. The video.
I've ever uploaded.
He's just venting. He got a strike, and I could relate. What can you do about it? Absolutely nothing. The good thing is he still has his channel. The good thing is I can always make another channel. And why do I do it? Why do something when you already know it's gonna fail? I mean, isn't that the definition of madness or insanity? It's like, why create another YouTube channel because it's gonna be deleted again? Because I have to continue communicating. And I always say there is no relationship without communication. And it's through these relationships that I somehow find miracles, find success. It's not about what you know, it's who you know. And the more people that I communicate with here, the more I can continue. I would like to continue making a difference. I would like to continue and see what's out there. But if I don't communicate and I don't tell people that I'm still here and I'm still fighting the good fight, then I then the people who want to continue oppressing people will continue. The oppressive nature of YouTube will succeed. So that's why I do it, even though it's insane sometimes. But at least the good part is I can still continue communicating. You can delete this channel, but you can not delete the man or the cause or the movement or my passion for my empathy, my drive, my motivation, my drivenness to what that is. It's floating. Right now, I'm just happy that I'm vlogging again. When I was in prison, people knew that I was a vlogger, and they were watching. They were always talking about, oh, what's it like when everybody always says, when I get out of prison, I'm gonna start vlogging also. And they would always ask me what my advice is. My advice is do it because you enjoy it, and that's the reason why I'm not doing it because it's insane. I'm doing it because I enjoy expressing my thoughts. I enjoy sharing my ideas. What is the point of experiencing even the bad experiences if you can't share it with people? And the good experiences, it's like reliving those good experiences. Right now, I'm having a great experience because I'm not in prison suffering. I'm not. It's so adjusting back to. I remember when I was in prison. Imagine if you have to take a crap and having to wait in line for hours to do it and suffer for that. And that's physical and mental torture right there. It's like having to wait in line to go to the bathroom because there's 150 other people that will use it. So I have to share those experiences with other people so they don't have to go through it. But anyway, this is my thoughts on it. It's like I said, he already nailed it pretty much in the head. You're just a number to them. They're a monopoly. They don't need you, but you need them. You need YouTube. I need YouTube. I need the technology to keep communicating. If there's somewhere else I can go where I can reach my audience, then I would gladly go to it. And all I can say is the advice that I always give myself is ex favilla nos resurgemos. You can delete the channels again. You can give it a strike again, but from the ashes will arise. And I'm sure there's people out there watching this video that know my history, that they'll probably say this wasn't the first time I've been in prison, and that this wasn't the last time I came back from the ashes. So right now I'm sitting in the ashes, and I am hopefully should rise again and would like to be back to where we were before. And the only way to find out is keep making these videos and keep trucking along. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts or comments. Do you agree or disagree? And I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Well, where do you want Bebels Only to go? I know where I want to go. I miss the old life back in prison, the excitement, the meeting people, but for now I'm just in pandemic mode and hanging out with the kids. It's always good for me, and communicating with our community over here. All right, so I'll see you guys in the next vlog. This is Bebels Only. Thanks for watching.